Alright guys, it's Top Fuel time. Top Fuel qualifying session number 2 for the weekend. Coming up now, Marcus Norris in the near lane, the Pat Norris Racing Worldwide Insurance Services team. They'll be here in the near lane up against Dennis Wright, camera down, Top Fuel. Dennis came out earlier, he went 252. So it's going to be Marcus Norris here in the near lane out of Phoenix. Dennis Wright from Carlsbad, California, over on the far side. Top Fuel qualifying session number 2 for the weekend. So you're watching the National SCSDA News live stream presented by Good Vibrations Motorsports. So get ready for Top Fuel qualifying. Here we go. Marcus Norris near lane, Dennis Wright in the far lane. Marcus Norris over here on the near side, 244 at 154. 244, 154 for Marcus Norris. 276 at 120 for Dennis Wright. 244 for Marcus Norris. He was throwing bigger diggers all over the place down there. Wow. Marcus Norris will be your number 1 qualifier in Top Fuel going into Saturday's qualifying. Marcus there, his car was moving around pretty good down track. It looked like it hooked halfway decent, and then it started slinging bigger diggers off, and it started sliding around down track. And he did a great job of keeping it under control. It looks like he went pretty far down there and got it stopped safely. Dennis Wright, I'm not sure what happened on his side of the track. He clicked it off early, obviously, going 276 at 120. I'm not sure what happened on his side of the track, but Marcus Norris and the Pat Norris Racing Worldwide Insurance Services team goes to the number 1 spot. And then we should be up to Top Alcohol qualifying session number 2 up next. So you're watching the National SCSDA News live stream presented by our friends at Good Vibrations Motorsports. Be sure to go to goodvibesracing.com and sign up for their free catalog. The 2018 catalogs were just printed. They're hot off the press, and they will be shipped sometime in mid-March, mid to late March, somewhere in that ballpark. So if you want to make sure you get the latest and greatest from Good Vibrations Motorsports, sign up for their free catalog, and you'll get it delivered right to your doorstep. kind of a cool evening here in Southern California. Craig Durning would agree.
How cool is it?
It's where's your weather at, Craig? Here we go.
I can tell you what it is at the airport.
we're gonna get a temperature reading here. It's probably.
It might be a little cooler here.
I think it's a little below 50 right now. The wind chill's well into the 40s for sure. Definitely a lot cooler than normal here for sand drag racing in Southern California. We're at the Soboba Casino in Jacinto, California, down in the Hemet Valley. Awesome backdrop for sure, guys. Check out the mountains. The snow caps are over there. There you go. That's some snow cap action.
Airport, 53 degrees.
Yeah. Craig's phone's coming up with 53 degrees. There's no way it's 53 now. Yeah, it's firmly into the 40-degree range, and the wind is ripping through here pretty good. So it's wind chill. 1,500 foot altitude. So definitely some horsepower here tonight. As we see the rest of the heads-up cars come up for this qualifying session. Top Alcohol should be up next. It looks like Jimmy DePass is at the front of the lanes. As well as Nick Janik in the Larry Minor Motorsports Jeep. So lots of great action to come here on the National Sand Drag News live stream, presented by Good Vibrations Motorsports. Looks like the top end is clear. We're getting ready for Top Alcohol action with Nick Janik out of Las Vegas behind the wheel of Larry Minor's Pro Mod Jeep, screw-blown Hemi action here. Bob DeVore with the tune-up. They are coming up. It looks like they will be on the... Oh, they're coming over to this side. They'll be in the near lane for Larry Minor Motorsports and Lucas Oil. And let's see who they're going to pair off with. It looks like it's going to be Jim Hammond in the April's Dream out of Ontario, California. Jim in the BAE-powered April's Dream Top Alcohol Dragster. Unfortunately, last year's champion in Top Alcohol, the Morton Racing Team, they had a bit of an issue on their warm-up earlier today and had some engine damage that they were unable to repair. So a tough break for Jake Morton, Bob Morton, Garth, the whole team over there. They will be back and ready to go next month, though. So, gonna be it. I know Garth and the whole team was ready to lay down some numbers this weekend. Unfortunately, they're not gonna get their opportunity. But here we go. Jim Hammond over on the far side, and Nick Janik over on the near side. And the tripod fell over, so that's good. Okay guys, we are back. Our tripod had a little issue with the wind. The first time we've had a wind issue with it. As we get ready for Top Alcohol qualifying session number 2. Sorry for moving the camera around here for just a moment as I get my charging setup squared away here. So it's going to be Jim Hammond in the far lane, Nick Janik in the near lane. Sorry about that, guys. That was pretty crazy. over on the far side goes 255. 255 for Jim Hammond. 305 for Nick Janik. So 255 for Jim Hammond over on the far side to set the bar in top alcohol qualifying. 255, 305 for Nick Janik over on the near side.
You have right back there?
So we're getting ready for the next pair of action here. Not sure what we got next. I believe Jimmy DePass is in the lanes for top alcohol. Not sure if he's coming out next or not. We know that, like I said, unfortunately the Morton team is out for the weekend. They hurt their motor on the warm-up and unfortunately are unable to continue. But we do know that Gary Mink is on his way and will be here for qualifying tomorrow. It'll be great to see Gary and the Bad to the Bone team out here. So we're certainly looking forward to that. He's been kind of the class leader for quite a while. So we'll get to see them on track tomorrow. Well, the down track stuff is for the GoPros that I have down there that we will do a wrap-up video afterwards. So we're just trying to give you guys a live look into what's going on from the starting line and from our safety point. So, but you are watching the National Sand Drag News live stream presented by Good Vibrations Motorsports. We're at the 2018 SCSDA season opener. It's pretty cool down here. It's probably in the high 40s right now. Definitely horsepower weather, some of the best weather we've seen in a while. Horsepower wise. Top Eliminators in the lanes. Fast Fours are in the lanes. Got a pretty good group of heads-up cars getting ready to go. As far as the Pro Car Gambler, we got through first round eliminations in that, 27 cars. So we're down to 14 in that. Yeah, no kidding. Guys, the track is getting finish the grooming as we get ready for the next set of cars.
I guess.
Okay, top eliminator time. It's going to be Paul Graham here in the near lane, and Jim Rossi making his first pass of the weekend over on the far side in the bad toy. Paul Graham over on the left side. He kept it under control down there. 300 for Jim Rossi to the top spot on the right side. Paul Graham drifted left all the way down the track and ended up way to the outside of the shutdown area, but kept it under control. So Jim Rossi, 300 with a 6 is your number one qualifier in top eliminator so far. Nice lap for Jim, Patty, the whole team over there. 292 breakout for Paul Graham. So he'll have to back it down a little bit for the next session. 295 is the index here in top eliminator. So Jim Rossi's 3 flat jumped into the top of the list ahead of Paul Taylor's 301 from earlier. Over on the far side. Russ making the chip in from Lee Summit, Missouri. Up against Tristan Graham. Tristan in the triple front buggy over here on the near side. So Tristan Graham near lane, Russ Bailey over on the far side. Russ Bailey over on the far side goes 284. 284 for the breakout, but a killer run for Russ Bailey. 284 at 117. 333 is the number for Tristan Graham over here on the near side. So 284 for the team out of Missouri, 333 the number for Tristan Graham. Killer lap for Russ Bailey there. Man, that was a good one. So he's got a good point to tune from. To back her down after that one, but nice lap for Russ Bailey. So congrats to Trisha and the whole team over there as they'll come back for tomorrow's qualifying, try to get it back above 295, but great looking pass for Russ Bailey over on the far side. All right, more top eliminator action. Up next is going to be Bill Peterson over here on the near side and Jeff Liston over in the Sand Bomber. He'll be on the far side. Jeff with small block power there in the Sand Bomber, small block mafia action. Up against Bill Peterson. Yes, haul in the mail for sure for Russ. 284 is a killer lap for that front engine car. The weather is right for it right now, man. It's got to be in the high 40s or so right now with corrected altitude down around 1,000 foot. So excellent air for horsepower, and the track seems to be coming around really good right now. They added a substantial amount of clay to the track surface this week, and they're getting it worked in pretty nicely. It was a little clumpy earlier. It looks like it's getting better as we get through today's action. So you're watching the National Sand Drag News live stream presented by Good Vibrations Motorsports. We're at the Soboba Casino in San Jacinto, California for the 2018 SCSDA season opener. We're cleaning the track up and coming back with more top eliminator 295 index action. Be sure to check our Facebook page later on tonight. We got some pretty awesome wheelie shots from the bracket classes earlier on today. Some of the Jeeps were having some awesome wheelies. Mike Breckard and Kevin Williams both stood them straight up. Scott Whipple also with his Dune Jeep. He had the front end a couple feet off the ground. And we had a wild ride with Kathy Brown out of New Mexico and her blown alcohol Jeep. She got crossed up, got it up on two wheels, and did a fantastic job saving it. So, and we got a pretty good sequence of shots there on that one. So we'll have that stuff posted up later tonight. And yes, the Larry Minor Jeep did make a pass with Nick driving it. They ran a 305, and they'll be back in the lanes for Pro Mod here in just a little bit. Our good friend Mr. Dave Nearboss is down at the end of the track for Motorsport Safety Solutions, checking in on the live stream. Always awesome for our Motorsport Safety Solutions team to be here. They're going to be at all 5 events of the 2018 California Sand Drag Challenge Point Series. The 3 races here at Soboba and the 2 at Avenal. So we're thrilled to have Dave and the whole Motorsport Safety Solution team on board with us for the 2018 season. I wish I had a parka. I packed for 80-degree weather as predicted when I left home, and yeah, that worked out well with the cool weather, but I'm surviving. So here we go. go. Jeff Liston, far side. Bill Peterson in the near lane. Bill with the Hemi-powered villain. They ran a personal best 3:31 in the first session. And Jeff Liston making his first hit of the weekend in the Sand Bomber. Jeff making the trip in from Las Vegas. And the better run is on the left side. 3:15 for Bill Peterson as they continue to improve with the villain. 3:15 at 112. 3:19 for Jeff Liston over on the far side. So 3:15 for Bill Peterson, personal best. Great looking run for the villain. 3:19 for Jeff Liston in the Sand Bomber. So a couple of good runs there. I'm sure Jeff was looking for a little better, but they'll get her figured out as the weekend continues on. Next up, it's going to be Vicky Hall in the Farmer's Twisted Daughter out of New Mexico in her new ride. And she will be up against Paul Taylor in the Out of Control Dragster out of Bakersfield. Our bike's allowed to test and tune. Bikes can't compete in the motorcycle sport and motorcycle pro bracket categories this weekend. The sportsman ATV classes will run tomorrow morning, and the pro ATV classes will run Sunday morning. Flooding city of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Yes, I've heard all about that. Lots of flooding back in my home state of Michigan. That is a long drive, Tony. You would have to tow it out here and start it up by the starting line. It is a long haul. So here it is. Paul Taylor will be in the near lane. Vicky Hall in the far lane. Vicky Hall and Paul Taylor both had clean runs. Unfortunately, we don't know what the times were as the scoreboards did not refresh. So I'll find out here in just a moment and let you know what the numbers were. So here's the numbers on the last one. Vicky Hall 2.951 to the number 1 qualifying spot. Vicky Hall went 295 with the 1/1000th of a second off the perfect run. Paul Taylor on the other side went 3.003 to move back to the number 2 spot. So great run for Vicky and the Farmer's Twisted Daughter team. Once again, the numbers on that one: Vicky Hall 295 with a 1, Paul Taylor 3 flat with a 3. They're your number 1 and number 2 qualifiers at the moment. We got the sunset going on back here. You're watching the National Sanitary News live stream presented by Good Vibrations Motorsports. We are at the 2018 SCSDA season opener. Okay, so here we go. Sorry for the circle there, but anyways, I want to give you guys kind of a panoramic view of the sunset as we approach darkness here in the Hemet Valley. Vicky, yeah, she went red on that one over on the far side. She left a little early. Still working on the reaction time, but she's done a great job making 3 hits so far today and is your number 1 qualifier at the moment. It looks to me like we are done with top Eliminator, so it should be the Fast 4 cars up next. Staging lanes are way over there. Out that way. All right, Jactor is back. So let's see who we got. It is the Fast 4s. After your first session, your number 1 qualifier was Adam Rowe at a 278. We'll see what happens in this session. I'm sure the Rowe team's gonna step her up a little bit. So first out, it is going to be, it looks like Darryl Rowe in the A Buggy World Record holding buggy. He had some problems on the first pass. It looked like it launched decent and then laid over about 60 foot out. So it's going to be they're getting some heat in them right now. Like I said, it's a little cooler than they're normally used to running in, so definitely getting some heat back there. Go Row for sure, Tony McClethy. The Michigan contingent checking in on their fellow racers as Adam and Daryl Rowe were out here this weekend. They made the long cross-country haul. Talked to Daryl this morning. He said they drove through ice and snow and just about every weather condition imaginable to make it out here. And Adam made a great run in the first session with a 278. We'll see what happens this one. So Daryl Rowe will be over on the far side up against Super Mario Tavares. Mario will be here in the near lane. Mario making his first hit of the weekend with the beautiful Potter entry. So Daryl Rowe far lane, Mario Tavares in the near lane. Alright, so 302 was the number for Super Mario. 312 the number for Daryl Rowe. Daryl had some issues there. Looks like he did get the car stopped safely down at the other end. Thankfully it looks like he was able to get her stopped. It sounded like the throttle may have hung open a little bit on it. But looks like all's good for Daryl Rowe. 312 the number for Daryl. 302 the number for Super Mario. All right, guys, next pair is ready. Try not to let the wind blow our tripod away here. It's going to be Daniel King here in the near lane, Adam Rowe in the far lane. Daniel, DL, and the team out of Apple Valley Animal Control here on the near side. Adam Rowe, your number one qualifier, all the way from Michigan over on the far side. Nice run there. Daniel King goes 279. Well, scoreboard did not refresh on the right side. Let me go see what Adam Rowe ran. Awesome run for Daniel, 279. is Adam Rowe over on the far side, 273. So 273 for Adam Rowe. He's your number 1 qualifier. Daniel King, your number 2 qualifier with a killer 279. Awesome. So glad for Daniel and DL, the whole King team. They got a great run in there, and I think there's more in it because it looked to me like Daniel actually had to pedal it a little bit. The car went left. It looked like he had to pedal it to correct it a little bit and still ran a 279. Awesome run for the animal control team and a great run for the road team as well at 273. The road team asked to say hi to Connor Rowe, who's watching it on the live stream. So we'll give a shout out to Connor. But a great run for the road team. And here we go. Next group, next pair up. It is going to be Robert Skidmore over here on the near side and Art Cronin over in the far lane. Skidmore and the team out of Phoenix. Up against Art Cronin in the Meltdown out of the San Diego area. Let's see what these two can do here. And the number over here on the left side was 284. 284 at 116 for Skidmore. 335 for Cronin. 284 for Skidmore. 335 for Art Cronin. Looks like that's all for Fast Fours. So after 2 sessions, Adam Rowe sits atop the list at a 273. So 273 for Adam Rowe, your number 1 qualifier. Daniel King, number 2 at 279. And Robert Skidmore, number 3 at 284. So great session of qualifying there for the Fast Fours cars. You're watching the National Sand Drag News live stream presented by Good Vibrations Motorsports. If you've not already done it, go to goodvibesracing.com. Click on free catalog. The new 2018 catalogs are freshly printed. They will be sent out sometime in late March. So be sure to get signed up so that you'll be the first one on your block to get the brand new Good Vibrations Motorsports catalog. So we're at the 2018 SCSDA season opener in San Jacinto, California. Up next, it's going to be Pro Mod time. Looks like we got Dave Huffman, Jimmy DePass, and Nick Janik in the lanes. So 3 more cars to finish up this heads-up qualifying session. We'll see who can lay down the big number. Yep, Animal Control is certainly a cool name. That's from back in the day when he was racing against the likes of Top Dog and Sidewinder, etc. He came up with Animal Controls. The King team always in the part of the 4-cylinder wars against the Mamers and Montiels and such. So cool name for that car, and great to see the King team out here throwing down a big number, 279. I think they've been in the 70s once before, but I'm not sure on that. That may be a personal best for them. I'll have to talk to DL and find out what the scoop is on it. I believe they've been either like 80 flat or a high 70 before, so right on top of their best ever run. Great to see. All right, well, we're warming them up here for Pro Mod. Tractor's still at the finish line, so... Oh, that's right. You are correct, Nigel. That's right. DL went 270, was it 76, I believe, back in Avenal years ago, so they've definitely been in the 70s before. So here comes Jimmy DePass over here on the near side in the Otis Express. He'll be up against Dave Huffman. Both of these out of the DePass stable. Let's see what they can do here. Pass on the near side goes 291 with a 1. 291 with a 1 to take the number 1 spot in Pro Mod. 326 for Dave Huffman. So 291 for Jimmy DePass. 326 for Dave Huffman. Jimmy had quite a wild ride past the finish line. His car kind of made an evil hop and started bouncing pretty good, but he kept it under control. And now we'll get to see what the Larry Minor Motorsports Jeep for Larry Minor Motorsports and Lucas Oil. It's going to be Nick Janik piloting the Jeep for Larry this weekend. Unfortunately, Derek Belkunis was unable to drive this weekend, the normal pilot of this car. So Nick Janik from Plan B Motorsports, longtime sand drag racer, current NHRA Top Alcohol Funny Car driver, is behind the wheel. Let's see what Nick can do here. For Nick Janik, 301 at 113. It sounded like the car left pretty soft and then it picked up on the other end. So 301 the number for Nick Janik. And that'll do it for this round of Pro Mod qualifying. So, all right, we're going to take a break from the live stream. We'll be back in about 20 minutes or so with semifinals of the Pro Gambler. So we're going to let them get a couple rounds in, give me a quick break, and we'll be back for somewhere around the semifinals of the Pro Gambler. Thanks, guys.